Hello and welcome to Spotlight here on TV Europa. As part of our program series covering the Öresund business region, it is our pleasure today to host Maran, the founder and CEO of the Swedish company QUBULUS. Welcome, Ants. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Will you start by a brief introduction of your background?
My personal background is that I have an education in urban planning, a strong interest in digital maps, which brought me into the entrepreneurship and startup scene in the late 90s. And from there on, I have been involved in several startups within the mobile applications and service industry. And it came quite naturally for me to start QUBULUS because it involves a lot of the questions that I've come across for the last 15 years.
What is QUBULUS? What is the concept behind the company?
The concept is to find a way to spread a global platform for indoor positioning, where most people don't know actually that a GPS device or GPS in a mobile doesn't work indoor. So there is no global alternative to use indoor, and we do live in a world of complex indoor areas. So QUBULUS was formed to be able to support a navigation or a positioning service indoor.
What is indoor positioning service? Tell us more about.
An example would be that you enter into a large airport and you want to find the shortest way between the check-ins and to the security, from security to maybe a restroom or maybe to some lounge, and finally to your gate, to be able to save time and avoid problems on the way. But there are numerous ways to put indoor positioning in a useful perspective.
And in a shopping mall, for instance?
Definitely. Absolutely.
Okay. When did you establish QUBULUS?
QUBULUS was established in June 2010. So it's a very young company.
So it's a new company.
But we had a head start because we were a spin-out from an open innovation group called Mobile Heights Business Center in Lund. And to be a part of that made it a lot easier to start up the company. And we were already hiring and coding in 2010 in June. So from there on, it has been a very fast journey for us.
How many partners do you have? Are you on your own?
No, we just hired our 11th employee. I have a co-founder from Netherlands. With his background is from location-based services online. So I think we bring two worlds together, from a mobile perspective from my side, and from more social, entertaining part of location-based services online.
If we talk about products, what type of products do you have, more specifically?
We have 3 types of products right now. First of all, we have a platform to build positioning services. And this platform is for free for all developers and developing companies that wants to use it. But on top of that, we offer specific products for each customer that makes it possible for them to adopt the positioning service into exactly what they want to use it for. And the third line is a product that we've just started to work on. The first alpha version will be out in July, and it's an API service for getting access to the platform from various kind of services.
And integrate applications.
Exactly. And also integrate into hardware. So that is becoming a very important part for us. Yes.
So do you have a finished product today or not yet?
We have. It was the first version was out in December. And we started to sell from December and on. So yes.
If you want to describe and characterize your products, what would you say about it? How do you want people to differentiate between your products and other similar products on the market?
First of all, I wanted them to recognize that it is a service that is for free. We support developers, developer networks, and we have our own portal for them to use, where the resources are available for free. We give them support for free. So I think that's the main differentiator between us and the competitors that we see in the marketplace, because we want to grow the indoor positioning market. It's a very early stage market, and if we can grow that into a complete global presence, then I think it both benefits us as a leading supplier in the marketplace, but it will open up a fantastic amount of new services for a lot of leading edge companies, both in our region but also in Europe, and
especially small companies who are interested in developing small applications.
Yes, absolutely, because app developers are popping up everywhere, and there's not many services that provide services to them for free. So we want to work with them. We want to establish good relationships with the smaller developer networks and developers.
Who is your market segment when we talk about your target groups, and who are you addressing your products to?
Everyone that is building some kind of location-centric service. If it's for mobile phones or devices or apps, doesn't really matter. As long as you have a problem that you want to solve and it's indoor, that's the one market that we are focusing on. While saying that, and saying also that we're giving it away for free, it means that our revenue is coming from another direction.
From where?
And it's coming from the property sector, the industry where you work with property management, property development in malls, as you mentioned, but also airports, office spaces, industrial areas, and a lot of other areas. It means that to be able to combine the flow of how people are using your property, you can collect that and gather it into analytical data, which makes it much more easier to understand your property and to improve it. And that is a valuable service. So that's our revenue side of offering a platform. Yes.
Now, when we talk about positioning, some of the applications we see on the mobile phones, for instance, are very local, regional, inside the country. Will you go global with your service? I mean, if we're talking about shopping malls, if we have an application of yours, would we be able to look at the shopping malls in other countries around Europe, or in Dubai, for instance, or in Singapore?
I would say that it's up to every shopping mall application developer to decide how far they want to stretch their application. But anywhere they will go, we will be able to support them, because the main technical difference with our platform towards other platforms is that it is possible to use everywhere. It's building a location positioning database on each location. So even if you set up something in Singapore, it works perfectly fine in Singapore. If you do it in Copenhagen, it works in Copenhagen. But each developer needs to decide if you want to connect. So
the setup has to be very local.
Yes, it's extremely local. It's for every floor space in every building that you want to use it for, which puts it in the hands of the developers to decide how far they want to go.
So it's not like this: if we have the application on our mobiles, wherever we travel to, then we just activate the application and then we can reach anywhere we want.
No, it's not working like that, and there is a lot of reasons why. Our main reason not to go completely global is that there is a lot of privacy issues that we want to address. We think it's important that this is a trust relationship between the user and the application provider.
Yes.
So that you don't end up being tracked and traced everywhere you go. In recent time, the recent month, there's been a lot of discussion on
privacy information.
And information. And I think it's very difficult to offer a service where you don't know as a user if you're tracked or not tracked. So we want this to be a trust relationship, and that's part of the security in the setup of our platform, that you are only providing the positioning when the user wants it, on the locations where you want to have it. Because if it's not an option for you to accept or not accept, then you will never know exactly when you are positioned or not positioned. I think it's still to be decided exactly how positive or negative people would be to these kind of services. Let's see in a couple of years. I think if we will open up and say that maybe it's not that terrible to use positioning services. Already now, mobile phones are traceable in the networks, not with any good accuracy, but you can in city areas.
You can locate some.
You know, 50, 60 meters in best cases would be the accuracy where you could find a mobile.
Yes.
So you would know in what area approximately you
the
are.
person is moving.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And so when we look at technology today, we can see that there is a huge flow of advanced technology and new technology all the time coming, popping up into the market in different forms and different fields. Many analysts are saying, well, this is too huge. There is no market need or market demand to fulfill all this flow. How do you look at the flow of advanced technology today?
I'm seeing that we're just in the beginning. If you think that this is too much, I think you will see that the amount of research and the amount of interest from companies to develop new technology in this area of mobile technology, for instance, is just started. It's going to be a lot more, but that's because it's a fast-growing market. So everyone wants to get into mobile technology somehow to be able to.
Why do you believe that there is this huge focus on mobility services? Because is it true that this is the only future in terms of technology?
Oh no, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of opportunities ahead in different ways of developing technology or not taking part of that. But as in recent years, the mobile technology has actually been cheaper and cheaper. It's cheaper per base station to set up a network. It is cheaper per handset to develop a smartphone. So when the threshold of buying into the latest technology is lowered, more people are more interested.
And more people are purchasing mobile devices.
Absolutely.
So it is spreading in the hand of the market.
Yeah, and I think the basic reason why you're buying into the more advanced technology is that it's actually giving you some kind of advantage. Maybe not the first couple of weeks when you are buying a new smartphone.
Still learning. Experimenting.
Yes, but soon you will discover that maybe it's interesting if I could find out the exact exchange rate for when I'm traveling, entering a new country. Maybe it's interesting to communicate with my friends and my family and also my coworkers in a very simplified way, etc., etc. I think you find usage areas along the road of learning to understand the technology, and they said, this is really useful. So I don't think that people buy into new technology just because. I think they buy because they see there will be some very useful things with this.
And some statistics showed lately that the full potential of advanced technology is not used, in fact, not more than 60% on nearly any device on the market.
I can only speak for mobile technology in this case, but I'm seeing things, for instance, in automotive, where there are mobile technology that you could incorporate into cars that would make the cars much more efficient, communicating with the surroundings and improving safety.
But people are not using it.
We're not using it. We're not putting it into cars. Maybe the most expensive ones, but not in the mainstream car.
Yes.
No, not the ordinary car. And why? Because there might be some kind of
complexities associated with it.
Yeah.
Setup and installation and usage and so on.
Yeah, and maybe the automotive industry is more responding to consumer demand than actually being proactively out there presenting new technology to the user, which I think actually the mobile industry tries to present as many new things as possible. Of course, there is an enormous competition ongoing to have the most advanced systems and phones and services. But
there is an opinion suggesting that a visual guidance on how to use technology is sometimes more important than the product itself. Do you agree with this?
I would say that is what we call the graphical interface. So if the graphical user interface is very well designed, you will understand the service just by starting it. And that's not the case with most technology.
With most technology. This is unfortunately not the case. Do you cooperate? Do you have partners around Europe, around the world?
Yes, we have. We have. In a very short range of time, we have built up a partner network, mostly in our own region. That's the starting point. But we are signing now partners in UK, Netherlands, France, Singapore, and we're looking into China and the US as well. So yes, we definitely do. I don't think that we could grow without partners, not grow in the pace that we're growing with.
Is it true that to penetrate into the Chinese market, it costs a fortune? It's very difficult and complicated.
No, I don't think so. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I recently attended the Global Mobile Internet Conference in Beijing a couple of weeks ago, and I think there is a dramatic change.
And the Chinese attitude and mentality.
It's fantastic. They welcome us in the best possible way, and there is a mutual understanding of what we can bring and what they have, and they're developing new services in a very rapid pace, knowing that the demand from their own consumers are growing very fast. So they want to have the latest technology to offer to their consumers. There's around 400 million mobile internet users in China today, which means that it's more than the US and Europe together in mobile internet usage.
There is a lot of talk about the Chinese quality of product. There is this understanding that the Chinese, they have been always after producing something cheap to address a below middle class society. Do you sense this in the Chinese market today?
Yes, I would say so still, because the average income in China is much lower. But the latest numbers is that the average Chinese worker and mobile user is spending 10% of their income on mobile and mobile services, which is a lot more than in Europe. So they see the need and the demand for it. But still, so they need to keep the cost down. Yes. So an average mobile phone in China needs to be cheap. Yes. And they are trying to produce as good phones as possible all the time. But to be able to actually sell them at that price level, they need to compromise.
To have cheap components.
Yes, and it's a part of the economy to do it. But in the top segment, there is 4 million iPhones in China today. So it is already a substantial part of Apple's market. And I think it's the same with every high-end brand. China is the fastest moving market in all segments. Very interesting market. Yes.
And the greatest market by number and by size.
Yes.
And by volume. What was the impact of the financial crisis on your business?
I would say that it might have been the reason why QUBULUS came to be, because I have had parts and been involved in companies before that when the financial crisis came, these companies had to stop operation because it was difficult times. For instance, one company were developing navigation devices for in-dash navigation in cars and vehicles, and it was quite expensive. And when the downturn came, there was no let's call it support from the banks to continue the production. So
and this is something that can destroy and crash any business.
I think so. I think so. You got to have a good relationship and a very good cash flow to be able to survive lesser good times.
How do you do marketing today?
Today we focus on social marketing.
Social media, through social media.
Social media.
The cheapest and the most effective.
Maybe I cannot measure, but I think we have a very good result. We don't compare right now to how if we would be advertising or broadcasting or whatever. We focus entirely on the social communication because we want to, and we see the need to interact with each interested party that contacts us. If they have questions, we answer the questions. It could actually be answered over Twitter. We have Facebook pages, we have LinkedIn pages. We answer general questions on our blog, and we try to inform people both on our business side, what we're doing, trying to explore that, but also a little bit on the human aspects of growing a startup in our region, because there's a lot of interest actually to follow a company through the growth stages, and
absolutely,
we think that it's working.
Absolutely. And Google, the giant company, is putting a lot of focus today and allocate huge resources to develop mobility services.
Yes.
Do you intend to do anything with Google, to use Google platform, to use Google apps into your products?
We're using Google Maps.
Okay.
Yes. We have that as an option to integrate into both the mobile apps and the platform, to use it as a background map for what we offer. But we also use alternative services. OpenStreetMaps is available, and the major mapping companies are also interesting in certain areas. Certain customers are looking for that kind of solution. But yes, Google Maps, that is what we're using right now.
And your solution is customizable?
It is. It is.
Okay. And so when we talk about the Öresund region, what are the potentials that you see between in this vast area between Denmark and Sweden?
I think they're fantastic. I don't think they're being used to the full extent that the potential is bringing, because both on the knowledge side, innovation side, and on the cluster side, where you see in my industry with mobility, you see on both sides, both Nokia is on the Copenhagen side, and you see Sony Ericsson on the Swedish side, and all these smaller companies in between. It's a fantastic region, and the growth is good, but I still think we can do a lot better.
What is needed in your opinion? Some of the companies are saying that we need a platform, we need a kind of a forum which allows the different companies to expose themselves and then to exchange, to have a kind of a communication continuity.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how you will solve that, but it's exactly what I think we need. Both on a very small level, almost like on a city, part of the city level, where you can meet up, but also the city
on a larger scale.
On a larger scale, and the whole region. One of the things that I have noticed when traveling and participating in a lot of conferences and events is that, yes, people tend to know where in the world we are located. They do not know the name of the region. I think it's difficult to pronounce in various languages. So there might be a need for a name competition so that we can market the region in a better way.
To find another brand.
Yes, maybe. Because when you were trying to describe, let's say when I was in Beijing, trying to describe exactly where we're located, they know where Copenhagen approximately is located. And when you talk about Skåne, Skana,
yeah.
they don't know what that is.
It's difficult.
And Öresund, it's very difficult to pronounce.
Yes, because there isn't much of an international marketing about the Öresund region. Ants, what are the greatest challenges you meet at your work today in your company?
Currently, it's recruitment.
Recruitment.
Yeah,
Okay. You need very specialized, talented people, skilled people.
Yes, they need to have specific education, but also a very keen interest in what we're doing, and to be able to directly go into a kind of innovation within the area that we're developing our platform and customizing services.
Yes, yes. So recruitment is one of the main challenges that you face.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
What are your future plans? What do you want to achieve next?
We have a very good pipeline. Our sales is going very well. So one thing is to expand on the sales in Asia and US. Europe is going quite well, so we want to focus more on that. So we want to grow in different areas of the world. That's one really big challenge. Recruiting at the same time, and to be able to develop the technology itself also to adapt to new challenges. When we started almost a year ago, we set out the target to be the best indoor positioning service in terms of accuracy.
Yes.
That was the first target. So we said, okay, we will be happy if we can reach 20 meters in accuracy, because that's almost like a GPS but indoor. So when we reached that target after 2 months, we said it would be nice if we could reach 10 meters.
So you had always moving targets.
Yes, and right now our target is to go around 1 meter, and we are still 1.5 meters from that. So yes, we can improve, and we will.
Great, great. Ants, Maran, it was a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
That was all for our program. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.